What's going on, guys? Magdallan here. As we approach the end of the league, normally I spend all of my currency on some kind of a meme character, but this time around I thought it would be fun to instead buy a bunch of unnecessary upgrades for the Death's Oath character and kind of continue playing that. The main reason is you really don't have to do a whole lot of clicking with this build, and I've been really focusing on guitar the last month or so, trying to get my chops up, and I don't want to deal with any wrist strain from excessive clicking in the game, etc. But another reason is the build has just been super fun. I've enjoyed it. I don't really feel like I need to play a different build. I think actually this is the longest I've ever played a single build in the history of my time with the game. And it's been able to crush all the content that I've needed to do. I used it to farm all of the different things that I did for the summary and review video series that I've been doing. I think I've got like 8 of those up now. And all around, it's just been a great experience. And so I want to go over all the different things that I bought, talk a little bit about each thing and whether or not it was worth it and what the purpose of it was, so that if you're in the similar situation that I am and you've got some extra currency laying around and you're playing the build, you can decide if you want to grab some of this stuff for yourself. And so the main thing I wanted to do was add skitterbots into the mix. And so in order to do that, I grabbed a veil that has socketed skill gems get a 90% cost and reservation multiplier implicit, as well as the Despair Curse effect and chant. I think I paid 4 or 5 div for this, but there's not very many of them listed, and a lot of them are 20 div plus, and so your mileage may vary there. And so we also grabbed a level 4 Enlighten. I think I paid 11 div for that. And then a Divergent Summon Skitterbots for about 4 or 5 div. And that allowed us to get Herald of Ash, Despair, Malevolence, Summon Skitterbots, Aspect of the Spider, Defiance Banner, and a level 1 Vitality, all going at the same time. And of course, we are taking the Mastery on the tree that gives us 8% more damage for each aura that we have running on the build. So we got a little bit of extra damage there, and of course you get the chill and shock thing going on with the Skitterbots. And I would say that ultimately that was a noticeable difference, but not a game changer. But it was kind of fun to put the items together and see if I could get everything fit in. So definitely worth the time if you just have the extra currency laying around. And then we grabbed a Headhunter, of course, and I would say definitely this was worth it, given that I have kind of ignored my resistances for quite a while now. The buffs that you get from Headhunter do make the build a little bit more tanky, and so there's less of the random deaths happening. And of course, I'm still dying relatively frequently because the build is made out of paper. But generally speaking, I think this was a good addition to the build. I think I paid 90 div for this one, but the price is going down, so I think you can get them now for 80 to 85. I've also got an Orias End flask going on, and I don't really know if this was worth it or not. I think I paid 25 div, but you can get them now for 20 or so with similar rolls to what I have here. And it definitely does make stuff explode more, but I don't know how necessary it was. I just wanted to grab the flask. It's a really cool item. Probably my favorite item that they've added to the game in recent memory. And of course, once I take it over to standard, I might mess around, throw it on some of my other builds and do some testing to see how much of a difference it makes when I'm thinking about what I'm going to play next league. And then the last thing I'll talk about that I spent a fair amount of currency on was a set of Forbidden Flesh and Flame for Heart of Destruction. Gives us a bunch of AoE, gives you a little bit more boss damage. And I think I paid 5 div for the flesh. And down here, I believe I paid 50 or 55 for the flame. And very expensive. The AoE is definitely noticeable. So if you're wanting your Herald explosions to be bigger, then this is one way that you can accomplish that. And I haven't regretted the purchase. And I believe the price on these has been pretty stable. So you could pick them up and give them a shot. And then if you don't like it, then you could always just sell it back off. And so I think all told, this was like a 175 to 190 div package, so to speak, of unnecessary upgrades that I added into the build. And so let's throw a map in here and I'll show you how the build runs with all this stuff. We'll just real quick run through a toxic sewer. And I mean, the build just works great. It's very cruisy. Just kind of run through, everything dies. Click the altars here. Run into a wall. can see there, we get pretty good explosions. Depending on how bunched up the mobs are, you can get a couple of screens will blow up at once. We gonna die from that? No.
My goodness.
Through the middle here. Drop this little section. And then I'm guessing the boss is going to be in the upper corner here. And there's our Harbinger. Seeing we've got a lot of on-kill regen going on. We just kind of run around, kill that guy off. Oh, where was the boss at? Oh, I see it down there in the bottom. Oh, got snagged by the Sanctum. Nope, it's not there. Did we already kill the boss? Or did I just run by it? Where are you at, Spider? Oh, we just killed it. Alright, so that's a map. And for me, the build just runs really smooth. I don't regret anything. I think if I was going to do this again, I'm interested in seeing what you could do with a bow that has some cool synth implicits. And I know you can get flat chaos damage and just flat damage. And I saw one listed for about 20 div and another one for a mirror. And those were the only two up when I looked. And so I don't know how realistic it is to get a hold of one of those. Nor do I really know how to craft. So if you're a big crafting person, let me know in the comments below. Can you get a bow that has those two synthesis implicits and then also craft the rest of the stuff that's on this bow? Because I think that would be a pretty sizable damage increase for the build. I know that way back at the beginning when I got the chest with the 40 whatever it is percent increased damage on it, that was like an 8 or 10% damage increase according to POE. And so if you add up the ranges on those two possible implicits for the bow, it would be more than this. I mean, you'd be talking about probably a 12 to 15% damage increase just from those two implicits. And then obviously you could get slightly better rolls than what I have here. And so, I mean, that's ultimately all I've got for you today. I just wanted to showcase the upgrades that I made to the build. And as I said, I've just had a great time playing this, and everything that I've added to it has changed the experience a little bit. And I don't really regret any of the purchases. I might go through and, you know, we'll probably temple the headhunter at the end of the league and do all that kind of fun stuff. But I don't really plan on selling the character off because it's just a good all-around build that has worked out very well for me. So yeah, maybe you can grab some of the things that I grabbed and throw them on your version of the build and let me know how that works out for you. If you found anything interesting or engaging in the video, please do hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you.